to go live on YouTube at the same time. I'm actually going to change. I'm going to switch this one over. And let's do this. Surgeon, thank you very much for letting me know that we're live. So hello, everyone. And this should be going out on YouTube as well, he says. This is the time to test everything, right? When you're doing demo calls. Okie dokie. Cool, yeah. So if you are watching in Zoom, hello, how are you doing? I think you're on all panelist mode, but it doesn't matter too much because we're going to jump into this. And in the meantime, I am also going to make sure that people move through this way as well. We will get into this. The idea is to be able to make this the best year ever. And this is particularly for our funnel business. What I want us to think about is the strategies and the tactics we're going to use in order to kind of grow our business and generate as many sales as we need and grow the number of customers that we work with. Let me drop this link in here. Okay, I'm live on YouTube right now. 7 steps to selling more funnels. There we go. Let's hit post. Cool. I reckon we're good to go. So on this call, I want us to talk through the 7 steps to a profitable funnel business. And these are specifically laid out in this way, and you'll see why. You'll see why I've put it in this particular order. I also want us to look at what we need to focus on this year and what we need to work on this year. And this could be during your planning stage. This could be the phase of your day or your month or your year, where you're starting to think about the process that you want to go on, and also how to run a successful business. Now that sounds obvious, but actually there are some specifics to running a funnel business and a profitable funnel business. And there's the 7 steps that I'm going to outline for you guys. But there's also how to run a successful business, which essentially talks about how the truths of running absolutely any business and what makes a difference within kind of businesses in general, as well as focusing on the smaller funnel stuff. I think the biggest realization that we came across this year is that new tools like buying services, buying software and plugins, that actually doesn't help us generate more sales. It doesn't help us run a better business. I think it's a huge misnomer that buying the brand new tool or this new deal or this new thing is going to magically help you run a better business. And my argument is, don't focus on buying new software. Don't focus on buying new tools or plugins. You're still going to be able to generate massive amounts of revenue and sales and interest and exposure for yourself and for your brand and for your business simply by focusing on the right areas, which is this kind of 7-step outline that I'm going to share with you guys. Full disclosure, I'm basically going to teach you everything that I go over in my course. So this is an overview, a high-level overview of what I teach in my latest flagship course. It's less about kind of doing the classic, pitch at the end or half an hour. We're only going to be on this call for another 25 minutes. We'll, of course, have time for questions. So if you do have any questions, put them into the chat box or use the Q&A function. Or if you're watching it live elsewhere, go ahead and just write that in the comments section, and I'll see if I can answer them. But this is essentially what I'm going to be teaching you guys today. So if you want to, this is available as a course that you can purchase for full if you want to get into it. And there's a little offer on the moment, but I'll cover that later. In the meantime, I want to talk to you about funnels. You have to forgive me because it is an acronym. So there is a 7-step process to a better funnel business, and it uses the acronym funnels, FUNNELS. This is probably one of the most important points. This is certainly what we've learned this year, is that there is a specific order to running a successful, profitable business. And I think a lot of the time we go a little bit, well, in the UK, we call it arse about tit, but I don't know if that translates as well to other people. There's a specific order to running a successful and profitable business that doesn't start with tactics. It doesn't start with traffic. It doesn't start with the tools that you need to buy. We need to look a little bit deeper than that, but we also need to look a little bit broader. And I'll talk about that in a bit. We start by thinking about ourselves. So the first thing that you're going to need to do this year or the year coming up or in the next kind of calendar year, depending on when you're watching this, is you need to think about yourself. You also need to be very aware of your mindset. Hey, Matt, if you're trying to sell website design services, absolutely. A lot of this is going to be applicable to you in your business as well. They're relatively similar. There's enough crossover. So you need to think about yourself, your mindset, and your money before your tactics. And I'm going to go into this in a bit more detail because it's a bit vague, it's a bit woolly. We're kind of like goldfish, and we will grow to the size of our environment, but our environment is in itself our mindset. If we believe that we can find customers out there who will pay $25,000, it doesn't matter if you're based in Malaysia, it doesn't matter if you're based in London, it doesn't matter if you're based in France, it doesn't matter if you're based in the US. If you believe that customers are out there willing to pay 5 figures for your services, then you will naturally go out and find and attract those clients. And this isn't like a law of attraction thing. It's not a spiritual thing. Human beings are very good at recognizing and seeing items and things that we believe in. We tend to reinforce our own beliefs. And also people don't really they don't have their money right first. They'll focus on tactics and they'll focus on spending money. I'm staggered at how many times people will look at like their, all the tools and the things they need to buy. Like the course that I'm going to basically try and pitch you guys at some point is like $1,500. And a lot of people will go, oh, that's $1,500. Do I have that right now? And instead, what you need to be thinking is, how can I afford that? Where in my business plan am I making allowances to spend up to $2,000 a month or 10 grand a month or 10 grand a year or 1 grand a year on courses or plugin services or hosting? And a lot of people just kind of think, well, I'll just try and find a customer just to be able to pay the bills. And until we've got our money right and our mindset and ourselves, we'll never grow. Finally, and this is critical, and this is probably the biggest mistake I see people make time and time again, is do not ignore your vision. At some point, every single one of us on this call, watching this video live, watching this video now, has said to ourselves, I want to be the best blank I can. I want to help more people generate more sales. I want to help more business owners find more free time. And, if anyone's watched my YouTube content recently, you'll know I've been thinking a lot about my vision. When I say ignore your vision, you don't even have to have a vision yet. You don't even have to have this world-changing view. I mean, and I'm not asking you to cure malaria. I'm not asking you to, go out and change the world on these macro scales. But I do need you to think about why you're doing this. What's your vision for the future? It can't be enough to pay the bills. Because if that's all you want, you might as well stay at home and you might as well get yourself a job. That's honestly the truth. Unless you allow yourself time to think about a bigger vision, something that's bigger than you, and commit yourself to a bigger audience, unless you do that, you're always going to struggle. Similar to the goldfish, we will swell to fit our vision of the world. We really do. As individuals and human beings, we grow to the size of our environment. And if you put that goldfish in a tiny bowl, it's not going to get big. You leave that goldfish in a bathtub, that's going to be one big goldfish. Actually, I don't know how true that is. It's a nice analogy, but I don't know how accurate that is. So funnels, here's what we're going to get into. And this is the plan, and it's in order. So the good thing about this system is that we can either blast through it and realize, yep, those are the steps that I need to take. And some people like to have that as a bit of a roadmap. They know where they need to get to. Other people like to digest and go over one area until they've covered off all of them. So F, facts. This is universal truths about running any business. Earlier, I talked about there are some universal truths in running absolutely any business. Facts are what we need to cover off. And until you understand those, struggle. Unique, this is looking at you. This is looking internally at your vision, your values, your mindset. It's massively important. Notice how, even though I think over the little panel I've got here, it's like 7-step funnel system to attracting more clients to your marketing business or to your marketing funnel business. Notice how far down leverage is, which is your products and earnings and sales, because it has to start with you. Niche is about the market that you need to be a part of. So what niche do you need to create? Planning, although I've been told I could use nail the plan, which I quite like. So I apologize because I've had to use the N in the middle of planning. This is about planning the business around you. If you've only got 4 hours a day to commit to this business, great. We know that. It's way better to know what your time budget is rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to work 16 hours a day for as long as I can, because it's not sustainable. It's also about how you can become scalable, how you can begin to hire people. Earnings is your financial strategy, your pricing strategy, how much you need to earn and how you're going to earn it. Again, I'm staggered at how many businesses don't have this. Leverage is the products and services that you're going to create and sell and deliver to your customers. Spoiler alert, this is not necessarily things that you do. It's things that are delivered to your customers. And sales, this is actually closing the deal, generating those leads, generating those customers, and closing that deal. So let's go over this in a bit more detail. Facts are the universal truth about running any business. So Matt, you've got your question here. I'm trying to sell website design services. Does this apply to me? 100%. These facts apply to your business. They apply to your customers' businesses. They apply to your accountant. There's universal facts about running any business and universal truths, and a lot of people ignore them. Unique, as I mentioned, is focused on you. We will naturally attract what we believe, and everything becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you believe that all webinars, for example, are sleazy sales tactics, I guarantee that everyone you join, you will see as a sleazy sales tactic. Whereas if you think, actually, someone's giving away half an hour's worth of valuable content, I can probably learn something and at least connect with someone who knows what I'm talking about, you're going to find more things to do with that. And if your vision and your values align with where you want to be, a lot of people say, look, I want to be able to pay the bills. Great. You've actually got to think a bit bigger than that. You've got to align your values to be able to get you there. Whatever you value, you'll attract more of. Your niche, and this is probably the most commonly requested topic for me to talk about, is how do I choose a niche? How do I create a niche? How do I carve a niche? How do I find a niche? How do I become the number one in a niche? You know, how do I compete in a niche? All of these questions. You need to be clear on the niche market that you're going to go after. And again, these are in order. A lot of people will try to jump straight to the sales section or the leverage section. They'll typically skip out the earnings and the planning stage, and they'll completely ignore these three at the top, because we think that's going to get us closer to the money, right? Because we're chasing that money. However, when we're going over our niche, we can take some time back and think, who am I going to serve better than anyone? Who am I going to go after more than anybody else? Who can I serve better than anyone? And if it turns out that you can serve teachers who want to quit school and set up their own business, then great. That's your market. That's who you go after. Massive misconception. A niche is not an industry. A niche is also not something you find or discover. It's something you become. You become the niche. Sales training for funnel builders. I'm the world's #1 player, me, Mike Killen. I'm the world's #1 sales coach for funnel builders. Anyone who builds a marketing funnel and needs sales training, Mike Killen's your guy. In terms of running a marketing funnel business, selling marketing funnels, that's it. It's not something I discovered. It's something I became. There was no one out there thinking, I really want some sales training on running a marketing funnel business. But I knew that there was a big market of marketing funnels out there, big group of people of marketing funnels out there, people who build marketing funnels, people who even, like Matt, who sell website design services. There's probably a huge amount that overlaps there. And yet it took some time for me to decide that's who I want to go after. And now I don't chase leads and customers. Planning is about creating a business that works around you. I'm not a fan of this 16-hour-a-day work thing. I'm not a fan of the 5 a.m. club or anything like that. Productivity, here's the golden rule with productivity. Productivity is not about doing more. It's about having less to do. Matt, that's a great question, and I'm gonna come on to that. I promise you I'll get to that at the end. It's a really good question. Earnings, what is your financial and pricing strategy? When a customer says to you, oh, 10 grand for a website, 25 grand for a funnel, 5 grand for one email, that's a lot of money. If you have a financial strategy and a pricing strategy and you're clear on your earnings, you can confidently go, yeah, I charge 5 grand for an email. I charge 10 grand per email, per sales letter, because I know it will generate you that, instantaneously. I also know that I have to charge that because that's the only way I can make it profitable. And yet, if they don't want to buy it, great, that's fine. You don't have to buy it. Your job is to find someone who is capable of spending that much on their business and investing that in their business. Leverage, creating scalable products and services. You cannot create products until you know your pricing strategy. It sounds counterintuitive, but until you are clear on your pricing strategy, and until you know that you want to work with 10 businesses a year, each one at 10 grand, then you can't create products. Because if you think, well, actually, I need to create a $2 million a year business, and we want to work on one project a year, that is a very different product proposition and strategy than finding 2 $1 million customers or 10 $200,000 customers or $120,000 customers. They're out there. There are businesses that will happily serve $120,000 customers, even within our space, happily. Or is that, 10 customers at $20,000 per month, which again exists. We've got that. You can't create products and scalable products and services until you understand your pricing strategy. Sales, finally, closing deals, generating revenue. Massively important. And this is what I want to go into this in a bit more detail. Closing deals, generating revenue. Actually finding out in your network who's there who could buy from you, who in your network needs your services, who values what you do. And again, right at the top, we've got unique. Think about what it is that you want to do. What are you good at? What are people going to pay you for? What do you enjoy doing? What part of the process do you enjoy? And Matt, kind of coming back to your point about the niche, there's a huge spectrum of the process within marketing funnels and websites. And it might be that you really enjoy creating opt-in forms for blog posts. You like designing them, you like placing them on the blog, you like creating how they appear depending on like the URL or the keywords. That single part of the process then could well be something that you want to go after. So what I'm going to do, it's not questions just yet. I want to dive into a bit more detail. This is the hard sell now, right? Now that I've got you all on. So funnel business game plan, that's essentially, this is what I'm ripping off here is our overview. So you can see here, truths of running any business, that's the facts, vision, values, and mindset. That's unique, who you are, what's unique about you. Your market and your niche, that's your niche. Planning a funnel business, making sure it works around you. Money management and pricing. So this is working out how much you need to make, how much you need to charge per customer. And working out, because custom work comes in, I don't recommend you doing it, but custom work, of course, does come in. But fine, how much should you charge for a custom project like that? Creating a product and an offer. It could be that you realize that your best bet is creating a series of videos and instructional processes and systems that teach teachers how to leave their job or help blog post writers generate income from their blog content. And then finding your first customer. I'm going to work from the top because I've started at the lesson 1. By the way, each one of these kind of courses, we focus on a mindset. For example, I will become the number 1 leader in my niche. If we say to ourselves repeatedly, and we believe that, which is why I think in this one these all you can print out and paste up in your office. In this particular case, I just need 1 customer to prove this works. This is the goal. I just need 1 customer to prove this works. Obviously, there's a typo there because I need to change that. If you know that you can generate one sale and you've got one customer to prove that this works, you know you can do it again. If you've generated 10 sales, you can generate your 11th. If you generate 100 sales, you can generate 101. This is massively important to your sales process, is believing and understanding that you just need one customer to prove this works. That's all you're doing at a time, just one customer at a time. And the overall high-level process is reaching out to who you work with and looking at your immediate connections. Any one of us knows between 100 and 250 people. And yeah, do you know, none of them might be customers. But if we're clear, hyper clear on who we work with, let's say, because I think StreamYard, I think you're watching this. If you're watching live on YouTube, I am using StreamYard. So hello. Have I got my little overlay? There we go, live with StreamYard, just for you guys. There we go. Let's say that I'm really good at helping SaaS businesses who are at the start of launching monetize their free signups. You know, let's say we've worked with a few SaaS businesses and I'm really good. The result is that I'm really good at helping them monetize their email list. And yeah, that's got an industry in it, you know, but what the thing that makes it a niche is that, one, I become it, but also I'm looking at a specific part of the process and a specific problem that they've got. I can't just say I work with SaaS businesses because there's such a massive difference between Salesforce and StreamYard. There's enormous differences between the two. So I have to look at specific problems and specific results. And it might be that I say, oh, well, we work with SaaS businesses that have got tons of free users and need to start monetizing them and turning them into paid users. I'm really good at that. Does anyone in my network know anyone who is either a SaaS business or who needs to convert email subscribers and free users into paying subscribers? And we can find that out, and people will rapidly come back to you and they'll say, yeah, I do know someone, or I know someone who knows someone. And that's a huge part of the process. Creating social groups, content marketing, you know, it's a massive, massive letdown, in my opinion, when people don't use their network. They don't create social groups. They don't create content that positions them as an expert. If you want to position yourself as an expert, write a long form piece of content. You Google, I think I have to do this. Here we go. Sell a marketing funnel. 9.5 million results. It's just me. The 15 laws of selling marketing funnels to clients. 5 killer funnels your customers want and how to sell them. I've got my friend Jacob McCallis there. That's kind of cool. How to find clients to sell on marketing funnel. That was an interview I did with Ryan Dice. Mike Killen with ClickFunnels. That's me on the ClickFunnels radio. How to sell marketing funnels. The way that I've positioned myself as an expert in this space is just by focusing on that one need within the marketplace and repeatedly producing content around it. Let's look at a few of these other ones. I think niche, if I jump into niche, I think that's usually pretty interesting that people want. First of all, the mindset, I will decide a target market. Most people are capable of putting together the actual building blocks of building a niche and creating a niche. The problem is that they say, oh yeah, but maybe it's too small, or who am I to do that? I haven't got any experience in that. And we have all these weird mindset beliefs around what is and isn't right or about creating a niche. And you have to say to yourself, I will decide a target market. And one of the reasons you decide a target market is because you become obsessed with it. I've got an amazing story about a guy. He's a friend of a friend. This is a good example. He's a friend of mine. He basically creates technology and applications for iPads and tablets that allow children with learning disabilities, so very, very, very mentally disabled children, to the point where they're mute, like they won't even talk. But they've got enough cognitive ability to kind of have a vague understanding of the world around them. We're talking about kids who are maybe 12 years old, but actually have the mindset of maybe a 3 or 4 year old. They're also mute. Like I said, they tend not to work. And he became obsessed with this idea of helping them communicate, because he truly believed if they can communicate, the world is a better place. And he obsessively went after, I mean, that's a niche market right there. Kids with learning disabilities who are mute. I mean, I mean, that's niche. That's real niche. And he ended up funding an app which could go on tablets, which allowed the kid to say, for the teacher to talk. And often they can understand. They say, oh, are you hungry, Tommy? And Tommy can press on the iPad 3 buttons that says, I am full, or I am hungry. And this is literally changing lives. That's how he committed to the niche. He didn't care how small it was. He was dedicated to the cause and the obligations of that audience. That's what makes it different. It's not about chasing the money. It's not about going after who's got a load of money out there, because no one's got money. No one's got money. All right. Everyone's got reasons not to buy. The reason they'll buy from you is because it's clear that you care about their market. I wholeheartedly believe that if funnel builders, people who are building the literal systems that generate revenue and sales for businesses, if they are able to sell their services better, and if they have better sales training, the world is a better place. They'll generate more income. They'll generate more income for other businesses. They'll generate more income for themselves. They'll generate more income for their customers. That allows them to hire people. It allows them to invest in other businesses and services to outsource their services, who can then also hire. It's a huge cycle. Kind of breaking down the niche. Sorry, I went off a bit of a rant there. I apologize. There are 5 market types. So this is kind of your industry, Matt, which is health, wealth, hobbies, status, and sex, basically, or dating, relationships. And those 5 areas. Now, those could be 5 results that you get customers. One of my kind of colleagues, he builds marketing funnels, not very expensive. They're around $10,000, $25,000. So 5 figures, but in the mid-range. And what he does is he says, actually, we build business systems that allow you to go on more dates with your wife. He actually positions his entire brand around directors being able to spend more time with their wife or their husband, their partner. Get time back with your partner. Another friend of mine, he focuses on health. He believes that if people are making marketing funnels, his is actually about financial tech and a little bit of trading, but his is not a financial tech business. He's in the health business. He says, if you're making money before you even wake up, you can spend a little bit of time, extra time at the gym. That's what he works on. There's 5 market types, and then there's the niche types. And this is, your parts of the process that you love working. If people want to learn more about this, by the way, I'll put the link up. Head to sellyourservice.co.uk/108 niches. I'll put this link up on the screen here as well. You had to this talks through a lot of this process, not in as high level, in as much depth as cool, of course. But that is the process behind those niches. That is the process behind creating a niche. Cool. So I'm going to start wrapping up here. Let me go through a few questions. So if anyone wants me to go into more depth, that's absolutely fine. Money management and pricing, for example, there is a formula for pricing. I also believe that you're morally obliged to be profitable. I believe that you actually have a moral obligation to be profitable, not to price fairly. Pricing fairly is obviously a part of it, but that's not the priority. It's actually to be profitable. I can guarantee you profit. I can also help you pay yourself. If anyone's read Mike Michalowicz's book, Profit First, we talk a lot about that. So Matt, what would a niche be for web design services if it's not an industry? Check out the post, Matt. I'll also put it in the comments here. And if for people in, where's Zoom gone? It's first of all, think about the type parts of the process that you enjoy. Everything from email sign up to re-engagement emails, product launches. There's parts of the process and the journey that you enjoy more than anything else. You can absolutely start there and then go through that. And you might think that you're really good at selling lead magnets or splinter products or people's core offers. For example, when we first started, we sold splinter products. We helped businesses sell initial sales. And we said, we actually generate you revenue faster than any other product and will help your advertising pay for itself. How we do that? we help people sell splinter products. What part? Email marketing. Any particular type. And like I said, there is an industry niches. It's a huge part of it, but you don't have to focus on that. It could be that you help businesses discover more subscription customers from their first time core offer. It might be that you think, well, if your business has got a subscription offer and you've got a core offer, I'm going to help you convert a lot of them into subscription products. What type of characteristics do they have? We help businesses who have got over 10,000 SKUs. A colleague of mine runs a pretty successful e-commerce company. He specializes in working with businesses who have, I think the specificity is 10,000 SKUs and at least 5 variations per SKU, which creates, the maths is, what's that, over 50,000 products. And that's a lot. That's a hell of a lot, but he specializes in that. But that's not an industry because he has sports companies, he has health and beauty companies, but that's a specific enough characteristic for people to go after and for people to understand. So for me, it's building your new website. Okay, Matt, so people don't want a new website. What does the website get them? And is it the whole website? Does that differentiate you? There's hundreds of thousands of websites out there, hundreds of thousands of website builders out there. If you focus that down, you can find more customers. You say, that's literally where I am, managed to sell a £1,000 website a few weeks back. Makes a massive difference knowing you can actually make the sale. First of all, £1,000, you need to seriously up your prices. It needs to be about 6.5 grand in the UK for a website minimum. It's no more or hard work. You're probably already building a 6.5 grand site. You're probably already building a 6.5 grand site. You're just charging £1 grand for it. Okie dokie. Where's the little question slide? There we go. If people want more information about this, by the way, you can head to, I don't think it is sellyourservice.co.uk/funnel anymore. You can head to Sell Your Service, and we've actually got a kind of the outline of the entire program. Let me make sure that I push that here. The Funnel Business Game Plan, that's the name of it. We've got a bit of an offer at the moment, but I'm not going to pitch you on that. This is the world's first and only system on selling marketing funnels. It's about being able to pick out the marketing funnels that you want to work on. We have got a payment plan. So if you, again, read through the letter, and we've got a product page coming out. It's my fault. And this letter in itself goes over pretty much everything I've talked about in today's email. Maybe even a little bit more detail because it doesn't have the rants in there. But this is what you guys want to check out if you need to know anything more about the process that I've outlined to you. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I've really appreciated everyone sticking around. Bit of a short call today, only half an hour. We've got a kind of more content like this coming out soon. I'm just wanting to understand a bit more about what it is that people are working on. If you have got any more questions, please, please, please just email me, michael@sellyourservice.co.uk, and I'll answer any questions I can. Of course, you can also reach out to me on Instagram at Funnel Mike, as well as find me on Twitter at Mike_Killen. And if you head to sellyourservice.co.uk/Facebook, you can join the Facebook group as well. It'd be fantastic to have you in there. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with me on this. I really appreciate your time. No worries. Thank you, StreamYard. Appreciate it. All right, guys, and I'll speak to you later. Thanks very much. And yeah, keep building those funnels. Bye, guys.